Okay, we're live. James Maduke speaking, trainingsites.io. Welcome everyone to another Wednesday open classroom. I think I can call it open classroom. The whole idea here is these are completely live, here to take your questions, anything having to do with start, build, and grow your education business. Obviously, stuff around AI and community is what we're focused on. And any questions that you have, I'm absolutely open to them and would love to hear what's going on. There's all sorts of stuff to talk about if we want to. Actually, let me know who's here. Give me a little thumbs up on the chat if anything you want to cover. Please make sure that you put it in there, and I'll do my best to answer it, or at least we can look at it together and figure out which is the best way to approach it. Because the one thing that is for sure in all of these times, even in the last week, is that no one has all of the answers for everything. There's so much going on. It is a super exciting time. Just, two things for me personally in the last week or so. We've had the yesterday was the ChatGPT Atlas, the browser they launched. Um, Absolutely wild stuff happening there. I just did a video a couple minutes ago on that one. We had the Claude skills, which I did 3 videos on. You can actually sell skills now, which is incredibly cool. And those are just 2 in the last 5 days. So stuff is happening super quick, and they all have major impacts on anyone who's in or education space or is looking to sell education content. So let me know who's here, what's going on, who's got questions. What do you want to cover? Topics. If you don't have specific questions, but you do have a topic maybe that you want to discuss or go over, we can sort of do that as well. Hey, Mary, thanks for joining in. Turn up the sound on my side. Let's see what we got here. I think it should be as loud as it could be. Yeah, let me know. I can move my microphone a little bit. Actually, let's see. I have my, I've got my Hollyland mic. Uh, is that any better? Let me see if that's better. I'll talk a little bit louder. If not, let me do this. I'm going to put it on. There we go. Let's see if that's better. Hopefully that's better, and I'll just talk louder. Give me a thumbs up if that's okay. Um, sometimes it's weird. I have it shows that I'm at full volume right now, but hey, maybe it's not. And I'll do my best basically to speak loud. So let me know if it's there. So what's on? What do you want to talk about? Any particular topics? Anything that you've seen that we can go over? I'll let you know if I've looked at it or maybe discuss it. Completely wide open. Any questions? There's got to be some questions. If there aren't questions, I'll babble for a bit on some of the new stuff because I can certainly do that. Things that you might want to check out. And again, all of this is around the trainingsites.io campus. If you haven't, please go there and create a free account. There we go, Mary. Some better. Okay, there we go. Street Smart Labs. Thanks for joining. I think it's your first time on. I've been watching your YouTube videos for quite confused if you should enter into education business or not. Yeah, so let me see if this one works. I've been playing around with this. There we go. Perfect. Street Smart Labs. Um, should I get into the education space? And this is a really, really important question. Again, in my view, and I think it's a decision you have to make as a business decision. And this is one of the things that I find on a regular basis is that I talk to a lot of people who have a whole bunch of experience in a particular topic or category of topics. And what they're thinking about is if I only made a course, I could sell my course. And thinking that, and if you go on YouTube or any of the feeds that you get, you're still going to see a lot of people saying, hey, create an info product in 12 minutes with AI, or use AI to create a course and sell a course. It has been my experience that that is a very difficult thing to do right now without spending a whole bunch of money trying to use traditional ways to market it. Or you have to have an existing customer base that you can market course content to. So, if you're thinking about looking at it and just say, I want to try and earn some extra money as a side hustle, and I only have a course, should I do that? I don't know if that's a viable option anymore. And even after the video that I did about an hour ago, it's even going to get harder and harder to do that. So my personal kind of look at this, and again, I covered this all in trainingsites.io and the campus map. Uh, let me open this up for you. I'm going to show you something. I want you to just pay attention and see if you actually do it. So hang on one sec. I'm going to go and I'm just going to open up something that I installed a couple minutes ago. And I want you to see what opens up here. So here we go. Take a look at the screen right now and let me know if you notice anything different about that screen. Just take a look. We've got tabs. The training site is there. Is there anything that you notice that is different there? Put it in the comments and let me know. And I won't tell you until I get a comment or two. So yeah, because this is really, really interesting. And it's something that I think is going to cause problems if you're thinking about a course. So let me just go, and I want to make sure that I can use that one again. So the question that's Street had, so I'm confused as whether or not should enter the education business or not. So that's the first thing, is if you're thinking about a course and you just want to do a course, I'm suggesting no, don't treat that as an education business. The part that I've seen everyone go through all of this is there are 10 steps that almost everyone does. And one of the first couple ones is making sure that you've got a campus topic and that you also have some goals for an education business. And an education business isn't about courses, it's about teaching people, for example, how to build their own privately branded campus, is what I'm trying to do here. So it's like, how do I package up my expertise and create my own platform for it? So if you're thinking about the commitment of looking at it for, in this case, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years from now, and you have a longer term view and you want to put the time, energy, and effort into it to treat it as a business, I think it's an absolutely glorious time to do it. However, treating it as a course business, I think, is an absolute dead end right now. So, yeah, it depends on your topic and it depends on the amount of work that you want to put into it. And also, you have to take a look and see, can I put a topic or package together and deliver it in a way that is unique to me, that I can get enough people involved in my privately branded community so that I can monetize it. And I think that's the only way doing it moving forward, is to make sure that you are working specifically within your own community, your own ecosystem of experiences to learn something, or have some kind of transformation, and that you have multiple streams of income to monetize that and not focus on the courses. So that's kind of my thing at it. It's hard work creating an education business. It's going to get harder to differentiate yourself. I think there's lots of ways to do that now, but you're going to have to step up in terms of, how am I going to do this, my education business, differently than you may have been taught in the past. Now, you have to remember, when I started this was 1997 when I got my first domain. But all of the 2000s, we were selling information products, ebooks. I was actually selling courses in the 2000s that were video courses on Real Player. So the whole thing there was about, landing pages and opt-ins and sales pages and funnels. And if you are looking at that approach that is still prevalent in a lot of different cases, and thinking that you can generate a business from it to sell a course or kind of a product or service, I think it's going to be very, very difficult, just because of the volume and the quantity of information that is being created. So you're going to have to think a little bit differently. I personally believe that creating your own privately branded campus is the way to keep your own community or ecosystem of people that are interested in your topic, not your niche, but your topic. And you can create a community that supports what it is that all of these people have raised their hand and said, yeah, I'm interested in learning how to do that. Or I'm interested from going from where I am to where you are. And hopefully you have enough experience or access to that experience through other people that you can help people or guide people through that particular piece. So yeah, um, education, it's a tough question. It's a really tough question, but I think you have to look at it from as a business as a business, as not a course business, and as a person who's going to be involved teaching people. That's the other thing that I think has fundamentally changed. When we started e-learning, when I first started, the big thing was we wanted to get away from people. It's like, hey, just don't take my course. I don't have to talk to you. Just take the course and everything will be fine. I think the opposite is happening now is people are looking to talk to people. They want someone that they can ask questions of, especially if you've been around for a little bit. It's like if you're phoning support somewhere and you put on some kind of bot or some kind of voicemail waiting, and people just want to talk to someone and get clarification on some things. So if you're interested in doing that because you like doing it, like talking to people, yeah, big bonus to do that. There we go. What else we got for questions? Uh, Fonts are not visible clearly. I'm on a Mac. So are you talking here on the right-hand side? These ones here? I can try and zoom that up. Now, the thing that's interesting is if you look at that screen, let me know. Let me know what you think of this screen. If you can see it, hopefully I zoomed it up a little bit, but I'm going to share something with you right now. This is not a browser. This is the brand new Atlas from ChatGPT that was announced yesterday. So I am not using a browser on that screen. That is ChatGPT. So I want you to think about this. I did a couple videos on Perplexity Comet, which is another kind of tool that had Perplexity baked into Chromium. This is ChatGPT. This is not a browser at all. So anytime that I want to, if you look on the right-hand side, if I click the button, it has tabs exactly the same as Edge or Chrome or Firefox or Safari. Everything is identical. But if I want to chat about anything that's on the page, any of the history or any of the tabs that I have in the browser-like part, or any of the chats that I'm actually doing or have been doing, I can start talking directly about all of this content and use ChatGPT here. So this is something that came out 24 hours and 12 minutes ago, I think. Install it. It's free for Mac users. This is ChatGPT. And I just do the video. I launched it about an hour ago. This is an absolute huge problem for anyone who's a course creator. The reason I'm saying that is this is my course for a product that I built, which is a Claude skill that you can purchase. So Claude Skills was announced on Thursday of last week. You can basically create your own skills and give to Claude. I did one where I sold it and it's available for sale here. And what I did is I packaged it up as a course with some explanation for it. Now, I have all of this content here. Copilot is baked as well. Aaron, yeah, Aaron's saying Copilot baked into Microsoft Edge right now. How is Atlas different? And I'll just pull this one up here. Yeah, so let me go to this screen. I don't know if it works here. Does it go there? I'm trying to learn how to do Ecamm with this. No, it's all zoomed out. So Aaron was asking, is Copilot baked into Microsoft Edge now? How is Atlas different? There's a couple things, and I do answer it in the video, but I'll go over here briefly. The one thing, and again, I don't use Edge, so that's kind of the one thing that's there. Edge, if I'm not mistaken, is still Edge, but it has the Microsoft part kind of built into or added on as an add-on. This, the one I'm showing you, is not a browser, it is ChatGPT. So that's kind of the first thing that is there. The memory, I don't know if Copilot allows or has access to the history of Edge and or the history of Copilot and has access to both of them. That's the one thing. And the other part that is super cool with this is that it is the agent from ChatGPT. The agent is built in to Atlas. So I did some examples this morning. I'll show you one. And again, this is going to cause all sorts of problems for people with membership sites. But basically, I just went to agent mode here on the right-hand side. I went to agent mode and said, start posting in my community. And it posted directly in my community. The agent takes over the browser, does anything that I normally could do in a browser screen. It can write the content, create the content, and actually open up a site, go and post stuff in, create a course, do whatever is in there, whether it's a Google document, a spreadsheet, it can actually go and do the work directly within that. So I don't know if Copilot can do that, but those are two things right off the bat. And the other thing that's interesting, of course, is this launched 24 hours ago. It's not as if it's that's all there is and nothing else is going to happen. But yeah, so that whole idea of agents and tasks are getting baked in to where we do stuff. And I think, even the whole idea of an LMS and e-learning that I was talking about, there's some huge, huge problems here. So if I want to go and, as an example, if I'm going and I open up something here and it's got a video and stuff, I can just go and ask ChatGPT on the right-hand side, tell me about this lesson. What's true? What's not? How does it compare to this? It even has access to the videos and the transcripts of the videos if they're part of the video, obviously. So all of the content that you create in a traditional course is now available baked in to Atlas. There's no copying, pasting back and forth. The content is a level playing field. So if you use it, that means that the people that are taking your course or that you're teaching in any LMS or any website like this, they can do the exact same thing as you, which, that doesn't work with the course model anymore. So you have to figure out kind of how are you going to do that. So a couple more questions here. Hopefully that helps a bit. I'm not overly familiar with Copilot. I know that it has it kind of baked into all of the tools. I don't know if it does. Let me know in the comments below, obviously, if it does work directly within the documents and it does have a task agent in there. But this one, I think I have some left. I can show you. I will show you an example. And if you haven't seen this, please make sure to go to trainingsites.io. These are the ones here that I just made for the video that I created. And I basically, in the right-hand side, in the agent side here, I just said, hey, go and do a post in my community. And I want you to explain about Atlas and what was just announced. And then I went to another tab and did some other work. And when I came back, it had posted a tab with the links and put it directly into the community feed. So I had nothing to do with that. It was done for me by the agent. So that is pretty wild stuff. And I got to be careful now because if any of you go and pick up a copy of Atlas, what this means is that you can go into Atlas in the agent mode and just say, hey, I'm a member of Training Sites, and I want you to explain what I'm doing on my course or in my community, and go make a post in trainingsites.io. I want to go to a Facebook group and add this. I want to go to a Twitter account and do this or have it done for me. So any task that you normally do in a browser, this is available now for everyone, not only you as the course creator, the teacher, but it's the people that are taking your courses, whether they be in an educational institute or someone that's paid $900 or $1,000 or whatever, or $47 for a case that you created. So pretty wild stuff. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. Again, 24 hours that's going with that. So one of the other questions I had here, I'm just going to go through the questions. There we go. So who else we got here? Aaron, thank you very much for that question as well. Street Smart, you recommend to have a private campus. Do you think we can have 3 to 5 courses to start a campus and scale it further? I will talk about that one as well, because I think it's an important one. And I personally get into trouble for this. And when I'm talking about a course, and again, this is my personal opinion, my personal experience, and from the people who have been long-term course creators, this is what you're seeing is starting to happen. So I always kind of knock on courses, and when people understand what a course is, it's implied people are comfortable with the word course. But when I'm referring to courses that are causing a problem, the ones that I'm talking about are ones that are, for example, I switch this menu item back and forth sometimes. And the reason I do that is that if you are trying to create content that shows people something or maybe tells people what to, like a process to follow, but the focus is you giving people content, you giving people context. It's about you telling people a process. That now is something that is available to everyone. That's what I think of as a course. Where I'm trying to focus on is taking a look at what is the framework or structure that people can follow when they're using AI tools, because everyone's going to use them and they are using them. So take advantage of that. So if someone says, I want to learn how to organize my campus, and I'm just using an example, I have a framework that people can follow so that they can use AI tools and apply it for their own situation. So when I say course, I'm trying to put these recipes, show people how to apply the recipe. That's kind of the course. It's not, this is the recipe, explaining the recipe. It's like, here's the recipe. This is how you use it in AI for your situation. That's the first part. So that's what I think of courses. After that, people are going to have questions. Some people are going to pick it up themselves. Other people are going to go, I'm doing it this way, or I don't really have it this kind of campus, or I have a different business model. How can I apply this? And that's where the live classes, working sessions come in. And I focus on things like, how do I help people implement it? How do I apply it? How do I integrate it into something? And that's making me, as the coach, consultant, mentor, teacher, available to help people implement stuff and say, hey, you said you were going to do this. You got to, make sure it's done. I want to make sure that you apply it. And if you need help applying it, I'm here to help. So, when courses are there, if you have a couple courses, traditional courses, absolutely get started with them. Get started with them. And in terms of adding more content, the part that I focus on all of the time, let me see if I have my map open here and there's some of the frameworks that I have, and I'll just open up. Let me just open up this one here. This is the way that I look at it, and the way that I focus moving forward is, I'll just make sure that's a little bit bigger for all of us. Hopefully you can see this. There's three parts to your own community, your own campus. The one is that you have to have a community, your own privately branded space, and I'm suggesting you create a library there. Now, those library can be the courses. If you got 4, you got a quick start. Just build your campus, build out your community software. I use WordPress. You can use Circle. You can use a whole bunch of different ones. I use WordPress for a specific reason, which we can talk about, but it's like, get your course content in there, get your static content, get your Zoom calls, get your podcasts, any kind of content that you have, PDF files, chats that you have with ChatGPT, get them into your community as content. That's kind of the first thing to do. And start building on that. So if you got 4 courses, you're ahead of the game right there. And then after that, the second step is start doing interactive classes where you're doing what I was talking about, have some classes on a regular basis, talk to people, interact with people. You can have them structured or unstructured, or covering kind of pieces there. And I think the other thing here is those frameworks get created because of the questions that you have in the community that come up in the feeds, in these live calls, for example. Stuff that you guys ask about, it's like, how do I address that in a live class or in a framework? So that's kind of where I'm focusing at. And then the business aspect of it. So, the question is 4 to 3 to 5 classes, any content that you have, get it into your community. Do you have to sell it right away? If it's static content, in my topic, I'm giving all of my static content away because basically people can create it or they already have created it. And I just want people to come in and start generating some interest in what I'm doing, asking some questions so that I learn, and hopefully being able to allow people to actually share what it is that they're doing as well, if that makes sense. And, for me personally, I'm trying to make sure, and I'm trying to get people that are, in the community. And this is what I'm working on personally, is that, I have the study halls here on the left-hand side. I want you guys to put stuff in. What are you working on? What questions do you have? If you have tools and resources that you've been working on, what are the things you've tried? How did it work? Events and announcements. If you have something like a course you just announced, put it in, share it. And even if you created a course or that you have your community going, get in there, put it in. Let's know what's going on. What did you build? What happened? What didn't happen? So, what I want people to do is put as much of their stuff in there so that we can all see what everyone is working on when it comes to creating an education business. And that is that community and course part and the interaction, that user generated content. I'm saying slam everything that you can in there. Um, so yeah, you're way ahead of the game, Street Smart. You're in great shape there. That's definitely a big win. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Again, if you're new here, put everything in. I do have one question here from Michael, and I will answer this one because I think it's really cool. Last week on Thursday, Claude did, there it is. That's not the right one. So if you haven't seen this before, Claude is Anthropic, if you're just new to that one. And let me just see where I am. So we'll put it to news. And on Thursday of last week, they announced something. Get my keyboard back connected on Bluetooth here. They just announced something called Skills. And I'll open this one up here. And here it is on the right-hand side. So think of these as custom GPTs that have access to scripts and can be stacked on top of each other. And you, instead of having one GPT for one skill and then going back and forth between custom GPTs, these are skills, and you can have a complete library of skills. And during one chat, you can ask one or two skills to complete a particular task. And what I started doing is I started building out some skills, and I went, you know what? Instead of someone figuring this out for themselves, they may want to build, have a skill built and just buy it. So I created skills that I wanted to make for sale. And what I did is I used Claude and I asked it to create me a skill based on my framework and my process that I got from my community. And I asked it to make the skill, and it bundles up a skill and any of the scripts that are needed. And I asked it for a little bit more information, which I went over in the video, but it basically creates a zip file, and I'm selling the zip file. If you want the skill, you can purchase it, you get the zip file, and all you need to do is in a Claude, you just basically need to go to the capabilities, upload the skill, and you now have the skill. So that skill, I think, is really, really powerful because you can personalize it based on your approach on how to do things. So that's the first thing. The second thing I did is I was trying to figure out how much to sell it for. And what I did on this one, let me just pull it up and I'll show you where it is. If I go, in my case, here's what I did. I went and I created a course, and I called it this one right here, which is the Educational Skill Creator for Claude. So I created a skill that creates skills for education. So if you wanted to create your own skill, you could figure out how to do it yourself, or you could buy mine and then create as many skills as you want and even sell them yourself. So what I did is I created a course, traditional course in Fluent Community. This looks almost the same as Circle. And what I did is I had Claude create a sales page, which is here. Who's it for? Everything you wanted to know about it. And you guys can go look at this. This is live, and I'll put the link available for you. And in this case, I added a video showing how to use the skill. And I also add Claude, make a user guide, use a description of it, create a quiz, show it in action with some examples, frequently asked questions, and a change log because this is the first version. And if someone wanted this to purchase the course or purchase the skill, they're all combined together. I'm logged in, so I see it, but they would go to trainingsites.io. And in my case, we'll just do, going to go to the cart so you can see it. I had Training Sites going to actually open up. Let me go here, go to the actual one to the shop. There we go. So there's my shopping cart. There's the product. Again, this was all written by Claude. I didn't write any of it. I have it marked for $97. Original $47. Someone wants to purchase it, add it to the cart or look at it. It's All of this is just in the product cart, Fluent Cart, all the description of it. If someone buys this, they have the zip file that they can install in Claude, and they have access to the course and the videos and all of those other documents that were done. So if you wanted, or you have a set of domain knowledge or skills that you wanted in your topic or community, I'm looking at this and it say, it took me about an hour to create this skill. So if you want an info product, which is like an ebook or something that everyone can create, wouldn't it be wonderful if you could create a library of skills, give away some of them, or charge for other ones? This particular skill I'm giving away to everyone who's a VIP member at the campus. So not only do they have access to me during the live calls, but these skills, they can download them and they have access to them right away. So I think that's pretty cool. We're going to see what happens with that one. Hopefully that helps. Charge whatever you want, bundle it. That was the other thing that's cool is that was one skill, right? What about if you bundled 10 skills together? One skill's $47, 15 skills are $497, and they're all about a particular task. So it's a huge opportunity, I think, in the education space to do this. The one part, just to be aware of right now is this was announced on Thursday. Right now, you need Claude to do this, and you need a paid account. However, this is all going to be like MCP, where I'm sure that Gemini is going to have it, and ChatGPT, because they're very technically they're simple to create. Um, what is it going to take for them to add it just like a standard where you're going to have skills available to everyone, but you have your unique skills? And if people are in your community and they already know what it is that you are doing, they know, like, and trust you, they like the style of what you're doing, they like the other people in the group, and they can purchase a skill or create it themselves, but they can have the skill in 5 minutes and start applying it, and they're going to pay a little bit of money from it. I think it's a huge opportunity to kind of monetize it. So um, there we go. So Aaron, thank you very much for coming on. That's how I'm pricing them. Again, totally up to you on those ones. So Aaron's saying, I'm on the West Coast. There, I see him on the West Coast and was halfway through your Atlas video when I switched to this one. So thank you. Yeah, so Aaron, this is really cool. The Atlas stuff and the skills packages, that's in the last 5 days. So, the question that we had at the beginning was, should I start a business? Or I have 4 to 5 courses, should I start an education business? Yeah, but look at it a little bit longer term. I'm saying 400 days, like the end of 2026. Can you imagine how much cool stuff's going to happen? And if this is the case, I'm hanging my hat on. And again, this is what I believe to be true. This is the way I'm looking at it. You're going to need a privately branded campus as your community of people. I'm giving mine away free, and I want people in that community so they are captive, and I have their email address. And I can talk to them and bring all of this new news to them and have them meet each other, share what's going on. So we have a single topic that allows me to clarify or get rid of the overwhelm that everyone's going to be getting with all of this additional content. But I just want someone to see me on YouTube and say, hey, I'm interested in this. I want to find out a little bit more. So I'm looking at free community as the base level, and then I'm providing an upgrade level, which is me, or live sessions where me, part of my team, and or other guests that I bring in, answer questions, work with people, present ideas, and actually have Zoom calls with people where we're sharing screens, working on stuff. Of course, we can cover particular topics if that's something the members want, but these are ad hoc teaching sessions that are live with real people. And I think the cool part is that you can charge more for a live session where you're helping people than you can now with a course that someone can recreate. So that's in, you know, 5 days. These things have happened. All of this stuff is happening. It's coming back to people, teachers, educators, coaches, mentors, and people are going to be willing to pay for that because they can get all the information, but they still have questions and they just want someone to talk to. And if that's the case, where are they going to talk to them and how are they going to find you? If you don't have your own community, you're out with everyone else. So focus on your community, your library of content, start building that out as quickly as you can. And in anyone, for me, you go to these particular, get rid of it there. I'm just learning how to use the commenting thing. So pardon me if I look when I'm doing it. So, if you're looking at this and you think what's going to happen, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 400 days, the end of 2026. I'm betting about avatars and agents, but I want to make sure that I have someone's email address. I can share stuff with them, let them know what's going on. And these people have all raised their hand. They're not going to YouTube for 7 billion videos. They're looking at my library that is all about a particular topic. So that's kind of the way that I look at it. So um, I just want to talk on one thing as well, because I was just thinking about this morning with this Atlas stuff. And let me open this up again. And I want you just to, when we're talking about communities and education spaces like that, right now, YouTube is the second largest search engine, right? So we've got the second largest search engine in the world. Majority of people, they don't go look for a course. They'll go to YouTube and try and find out an answer to something. And it doesn't really matter anymore whether it's, something that may have been a written skill before. They want to find out who is talking about this, who is somewhat of an authority on it. Can I see a presentation they did? Or can I find out how to approach something? Or is there a live video that I can watch? But if I'm here and I'm on YouTube, and again, I'm in Atlas here, right? So if I'm here in Atlas, it opens up YouTube and I go take a look at some of these videos. Any of these videos right now, if I open it up, what can I do? I'm in Atlas. I can just ask a question about any single one of these videos. So I don't know how many 100 million videos get added in a day to YouTube or whatever the number is, but I can go to every single YouTube video and use ChatGPT to ask questions about that video. So this is almost like talking. YouTube is like almost talking to the educator with and through ChatGPT. That is something that, if you're in the course business, this is something you have to think about. And if someone does this and they still have questions, where are they going to go? They're going to go and try and talk to the person that they were watching the video for. And where is all their content? And where are you directing them to if they're on your video? To the community so that they can come in, see your playlist, talk to people, and ask questions. So that's kind of something I just thinking about today about Atlas. It's changing stuff quickly. So I'm really excited about this because we're going to be able to talk to people again and spend more time with them. So sorry if I get rambling. This is cool stuff. I really get excited about it. And I'd love anything that you have to say. If you disagree with me, that's cool, fine too. So um, Lewis is saying, let me just pull this one up here. So we have uh, I've been seeing discussions based on traditional college education becoming obsolete, calling for skill based learning, online courses, and AI powers to future proof education. Yeah, this is, and again, I say this up front. I'm not a formally certified educator by any means. I've taught at college before, just on an ad hoc basis, but I didn't go to teachers college or anything like that. Having said that, there's a couple things that are coming up in the education space, and I think you're right. Um, Google is moving very quickly in there, and we can talk about that in a second. But I still think there's going to be huge problems with that. Specifically, the alpha schools that are popping up in the States. There's a couple other ones that I've showed in previous videos. I can't remember the link to it, but they work differently where they have AI assistants or personalized AI assistants that the students spend 1 to 2 hours with in the morning. And what happens after that is it is all project-based work, either by themselves or in groups. And they have trimesters or different projects that they have to work on, and they do the self-instruction in the morning, they do the project in the afternoon, they have the mentor available throughout the day and throughout the projects to help people answer questions. And the way that they're marked is based on the project, the use cases, and the presentation of the final outcome. It has nothing to do with recall. It has everything to do with implementation and application of what they learned from AI in the actual morning sessions. And I know alpha schools, I think, are focused a little more on the K through 12 stuff from what I've read and seen. But this other one that I saw in Boston, which is a private school, is there. So there's a huge problem in the education space. Absolutely. I was speaking at a conference in Indonesia. In Indonesia, there's an absolute huge number of post-secondary educational institutes, and it was all the profs and even the head of some of the faculties there. And we were talking about it, and they're struggling with trying to figure out how are we going to implement or use all of this AI stuff. Google has some interesting pieces to it, but I still think they're going to run into it. I know some of the VIP members that we have at trainingsites.io, some of the things they have are in the education space is they have Gemini.edu, I think it is, which is Gemini specific to education, which can be locked down and special access given to students and a different level of access given to the instructors. So they're doing that in a closed system, but I still think there's going to be, some major issues with that, with the students having access to tools outside of Gemini education and being able to kind of sideswipe or move away from stuff that maybe the as educational institution started to think of. Again, in the last month, three things that have caused a problem here just to bypass that is all of the wearables. You're going to see a whole bunch of students in with their Ray-Ban glasses or their Android XR glasses talking to their phone and looking on the screen of their glasses or talking to their wristwatch or having stuff done in different languages in their ear pods. So, the availability of getting in or talking to these assistants, I don't think is just in the browser anymore. It's all over the place, and it's going to be really, really hard to get a handle on. And the educational institutions are not set up for this, and I don't know if they can move quickly enough to take advantage of it without breaking the way that they're currently funded. So uh, I'm not, it's going to be kind of wild to find out what happens there. And I don't know about you, but let me know if, if you've got kids, and it doesn't matter if they're young kids that are just, getting into school or kids finishing school, there's some serious problems for these people. Like, I have no idea. I got a grandson now. What the heck is going to happen in 4 or 5 years from now when this kid's going into what was traditionally, you know, um, preschool? What are they going to be doing? Are they going to be doing AI? Are they going to be with an assistant? What the heck's going to be happening then? Is there going to be a robot in the classroom? I have no idea. It's moving really quickly, so we got to kind of keep up with that. So hopefully that I think you're right. I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's going to be kind of fun to watch and be a part of. I think the cool part is here too, and I just came to this right now, is that if you have someone who's looking to learn a particular skill, are they going to go to a traditional educational institution, or are they going to look for a community of like-minded people who are all working on the same problem and using AI and leveraging it within a community? Think of your privately branded campus as your own school. That's why I called it a campus. It is your campus, your space, your study hall, your classes, your library. Everything is there, and it's a place where you can hang your hat and control your own campus. After that, you got to try and figure out how to market your campus. And that's some of the other steps that we follow. When I was talking about here, when I was bringing up that kind of piece here in the library, that's about the campus business. How do we automate stuff? How do we market it? All of those additional pieces are in here. So yeah, I think having your own campus is like having your own school. And I don't think the traditional educational institutions are going to be able to work fast enough to actually do that. So what else we got here? Thank you very much, Tiffany, for coming on. Michael, there we go. Boom, walkthrough, Michael. And I'll come back to that in a second, Kelly. Um, Michael, imagine how many people are increasingly overwhelmed, yeah, and need real educators to help them along. The reason I bring this one up, and I'm going to go back to LearnDash in a second, Kelly. I think this is really going to cut the wheat from the chaff, or whatever that expression is. And this is why all of the people that I'm working with and the campus, the VIPs, is my personal belief is that if you are an expert on something and you want to make it moving forward, The one thing that you're going to have to get over is your ability to get on camera. And I'm saying do as many YouTube videos as you can, as fast as you can, and do them unedited. Do not work really, really hard on making them. Now, obviously, if you're doing something on rocket science or you have to be super entertaining, there's always caveats to that. But I'm saying it is the amount of content that you can put on YouTube and the transcripts that you generate from those YouTube videos to put into your community library. You have to do it as fast as you can, all about the topic and all of the questions in and around your topic. And if you haven't done the topical authority map that is in the privately branded campus that I was talking about earlier, let me just pull it up so that you have it if you haven't been there before. If I go here to in the course, that 10-step campus map, there's a whole section on a topical authority map. It'll give you 300 or 500 questions that your community member has. Pick one of the questions, answer it on YouTube, keep the transcript. Repurpose the transcript with AI, get it into your community, and you're going to start to see different kind of pieces that show up in there. And the thing is that you have to remember with all of the content that you're creating, the purpose of that content is not the full document or the full transcript. What you want to do is you want to make the content available for AI to take 5 or 10 words, the chunks of it, and be able to come up with answers based on your training and your content community library. So don't get hung up on if it's not perfect. If, for example, the transcript is something you put in, but you have a or a ah somewhere there, or maybe you made even a little bit of a mistake, so you go, oh man, I got to do it all over again. Don't. Like, get the content in as quickly as you can. And it was funny that this kind of came up, and I'll just talk about this for a second. One more thing is one of the people that I follow, I'll pull up the screen here. Let me just here. What do we got here? Just kind of, where did I put it in the, it's in the general one. So one of the people that I follow on YouTube, I hadn't heard this before. So where it is here, I'll just pull it up. Yeah, this one here. This one, guy named Shane, I think his name is Shane. He's calling it the grandpa method. If you haven't had a chance, go and watch this. The reason is this, I've been saying like create videos, unedit it, live edit, save the YouTubes. This, he was actually talking about how this style now is more important than the, Mr. Beast attention grabbing, super edited, send it to the video editor, get it back. You're far better to make for authentic videos that are not clean as opposed to one super produced one. It's a difference between having 20 videos a year on your YouTube channel versus 200 videos a year on your YouTube channel. So you have 200 chances for someone to go, oh, wow, this guy's talking about this topic versus 20. And you have all of the transcripts from the 200. You have all of the opportunities to send email out saying, hey, I did a new video. You had all of the examples or all the opportunities to say, here's 10 social media posts based on this video. You have all sorts of opportunities around that content. So, the question is, that wonderful style that we're talking about, yeah, work on it as fast as you can and overwhelm, because people want to know the clarification and they're looking for someone that is giving or saying or talking about it in a way that they can relate to. So I want to get back, Kelly, you had that, just get rid of this one. Kelly had a question here. I'll pull this one up. It's Kelly, I'm using LearnDash to deliver materials. Do we add chat to our WP site on plugins and it just shows up? So it's funny you mention this because one of the other VIP members actually had a custom chat bot that they had built for LearnDash. So they had one that was built and it's on each lesson. It was really, really cool. Had a whole bunch of built-in options. It worked beautifully with all of the content. Now, he does in particular, he does training for people who are trying to pass the CPA, the Certified Public Accountant in the States. It's their final exam. So he has a whole bunch of LearnDash courses so that people can study for the CPA. So he has a specific approach to it. He had a private, like a custom bot made for LearnDash. On the other hand, I think LearnDash has one now that they put in, and you can also use something called AI Engine, which is a WordPress plugin that will work, that is a WordPress plugin that will work on LearnDash based on the content of what is actually in there. So yes, you can put a chat in and just have it to work and have it show up if you want, have it trained on your content. And then I have it on mine. I turned it off last week. I have AI Engine working on mine still, but I turned the chatbot off just as I was testing some other things. But having said that, Kelly, it's a great question until yesterday. Because if you have a chatbot on your site, and I want you to just think about this, if you have a chatbot on your site, and we'll pull this one up, and someone is working in LearnDash and they're going through the course, and they're here and they're going through the course and they're using Atlas, and they pick and click Atlas, do they have a chatbot about your course? Yeah, the chatbot is there. It's actually doing a chat, asking exactly the same thing as a standalone chatbot. ChatGPT is there in your course right now. So I would love to say, yeah, great idea to put it in. Whether that's valuable anymore, I'm not really sure. So kind of different ways to do it. AI Engine WordPress plugin, or get something custom, or use the one that comes with the plugin, are kind of the three questions I'm thinking about. And again, these ones, it's not just a course, right? If you have a document library, if you have downloads, and anything else that you've put in, these are all available if it's within WordPress, for example. In this, if you've got a chatbot in WordPress, those are all accessible to it. Anything that's in the site or on the actual page, the chatbots have access to that. So really interesting stuff that are kind of happening there. I don't know the perfect answer. So what else we got for questions? Let me know if you do have questions, anything you want to talk about. I'm here. Really cool stuff's happening. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know where you're from. Put your name in here. There's no wrong questions at all. And if I don't get any right away, let me just walk through here. I'll do it. And I'll do a little bit of a, hey, thanks, Mary, for coming on. There we go. Who else we got? Michael. Descript is a game changer. So Michael's talking about Descript. Yeah, absolutely. I do not have a paid Descript one anymore, so I haven't spent as much time on it. But Descript is another one of those tools that's set up originally for doing editing videos via text. And it was really great. It still is great at that. But I think what's happening now is they're moving into creating videos from text as well, as opposed to editing videos from text. So I haven't used that one as well, but it is a powerful tool if you're doing these live videos, those live edit videos. Remember, you don't have to do them live to YouTube. Just do a live recording, then bring it to Descript, clean up the parts where you're really mucked up, and then you got to finish video. It's not making sure there's fancy stuff coming in. It's just taking the pieces, looking at the text, cutting stuff out, and then outputting a final video that you can add to YouTube, that you can add to Vimeo, that you can make available for you. So Descript is a really, really good tool. I think, again, trying to remember, one of the people I worked with, his name is Christy. He has a YouTube channel that if you haven't, let me just see if we're going to block these ones for now. I'm going to just put Descript. I'm going to show you a channel because this is someone that I worked with in the past, and he has some really, really great videos, hopefully that he can come up here with. Oh, here he is. So I'll just show you some.
Here's a Descript tip for beginners. Did you know that when you apply the studio sound effect?
Yeah, so I'll make sure this one is Graphilicious. So this one here is Christy Codovan. Yeah, he has some really great videos on Descript. So if you want to take a look at how it works and how to use it, that is an absolute perfect one. And Christy's done a lot of work for me in the past. When I first got started, he started off doing editing, and he was a Camtasia TechSmith editor for the videos I started doing. But he's got some really, really great videos specifically on doing everything with Descript. So wonderful tool. If you're interested in that, make sure to go check that one out. There we go. So what else we got here? questions. Who else we got here? Got a bounce. Michael, thank you. Is it Kathy Vale? Uh, can you do a Squidward voice? I don't know if that's a spam. Maybe I'm not familiar with Squidward. I know the name, but I don't remember his voice. So there, if that's a spam one, thanks for coming on anyway. Okay, Kelly Kerr answering. Here we go. I'm using Amazon S3. Let's pull this one up here. Kelly saying, I'm using Amazon S3 to store materials using LearnDash. Are you saying that because my video audio links are the course materials, I don't need to have the MPC retrieve materials from Amazon? Okay, so let me make sure I understand this correctly. Um, when you say you're storing the materials on Amazon, are you talking about like PDFs and those things, or are you talking about the actual videos? Are you just have a link to the video and people download the video, or are you using an embed code and the embed code is taking the video off of S3? Um, are you saying that because my video audio links are in the course already, I don't need the MC retrieve? Um, yeah, so obviously, here's an example of here's someone that, this is what I run into all the time is this particular case. Let's say you teach someone how to use LearnDash and you have a course on LearnDash. Normally, there's a set way of doing things, but Kelly's here and she's saying, hey, I'm using it a little bit different. I've got my videos or audios on here. How do I use it? So if I'm a course creator, do I do another video and put it up and add to the course? Or does Kelly want to wait till that's done? Or does she just want someone to talk to that can understand what's going on and help her out? That may be a chat bot, but it may be someone in the community that has done it before, or the people that are in the paid version, the VIPs, that there's someone on to chat to live all the time. So if you are using LearnDash and you are using, I think they support BunnyNet, they support Vimeo, they support YouTube, Wistia, I think embedded directly in. So all you have to put is the Vimeo URL or the other URL and it automatically embeds in. So if you're doing it that way, you don't need MCP. That's built into WordPress and built into the editor. Um, you have to remember, if it's a public YouTube video or it is a YouTube video that is not marked as private, maybe it's just unlisted and you're using it, the transcript is available, plus the transcript or any content on the page to Atlas. So if you're asking a question in Atlas or using ChatGPT or a bot, it has access to the transcript already and to any of the content that's there, irrespective. And that's if it's on there. If it is just a download file that is embedded in the page and it's a video file, I don't believe it has the transcript unless you've included it somewhere. I don't think, I don't know how you got it set up with MCP to retrieve the materials. Uh, Let me know, is it the actual file that you're letting them download, or are you streaming it? What are you actually doing with that one there? Embedded S3 video and audio. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kelly. I see that now in the class materials. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, personally, for my videos personally, Kelly's, kind of asking about into the class materials. Yeah, there are some huge benefits of doing things with Vimeo and with YouTube, and I'll just talk about them briefly. The first one is if you have what you think is proprietary information and you want to keep it so that no one has access to those videos, no one can kind of hide a link or reuse your videos or add them to your site, I highly recommend that you use Vimeo. The reason is that when you upload to Vimeo, which is a paid service, when you upload your video that you're currently putting on S3, you upload it to Vimeo. Vimeo does a couple things right off the bat. It will create, I think, 4 versions of your video. One is for mobile, one is for tablet, one is for desktop, and one is like a high def version. So that's the first thing. It creates kind of 4 versions. It is also a streaming video. So what that means is that it only sends the video as fast as the person's browser or machine or wherever they are can receive it. So it sends it down the little pieces and people get to watch it. If you have it set on Amazon S3, if someone clicks on that video in the background, it tries and pulls the entire video and loads it in the browser. And then it plays off of the browser. So my understanding is still that this the way it works is that S3 is not a streaming platform. It is a storage platform that downloads the entire file. So that's the first thing. Second thing is in Vimeo, you can have it set up so that when you put a video, you can just say, this video only works on this single domain, and you put your domain name in it. So that means if someone steals the link or tries to play it anywhere other than in your LearnDash site, it won't play. So if you're really worried about the content protecting it, do Vimeo. And the other thing with Vimeo is you can control and brand the interface. If you use a YouTube video, it streams like Vimeo, but it's got all the YouTube links. You can click out to YouTube, all of those different things. So if it's a real professional space where branding is important and making sure that you've got everything together and you want to protect your IP, use Vimeo or use YouTube. Now, the good part with both of those is Vimeo automatically creates transcripts, and it's very easy to create transcripts from YouTube videos. So you have the transcripts, you have the synthesis, the documents, everything about that video is now available to AI to kind of work and use through. And the class materials, same idea. If you've got videos that you want to embed, I think you can put them into PDFs. They'll play when they're opened or someone clicks on them. So yeah, kind of interesting on what you're going to actually do with that one there. Let me know. Put it in the campus, and we can probably discuss it more and think on that. I do use Amazon S3 still on a lot of things. It's not as if I don't use it. So, oh, I didn't want to do that. Let me pull this up again. What do we got here? So, what other questions do we have? Any more questions? Not letting them download. Yeah. So, and it could be YouTube private as well. I don't know what happens on private, whether they're, I think they have to be unlisted. Private, they can't be played, but unlisted means they can be played by other people as long as they have the link. So, not entirely sure how that part works. So, who else we got on here? What else is going on? Anyone got questions? I've been going for an hour now. Love this stuff. Kelly, any other questions? Lewis, who else is on still? What do we got? Anyone going on? If there isn't any questions, I'll bring it in for a landing here. I'll do my one little sales pitch so that you can kind of see what's happening here if you haven't already. Is if you haven't joined up for trainingsites.io, the way that I have it set up is, well, I just opened ChatGPT. The other one, we'll just open it up. So if you're interested in joining into the live classes, and right now we have classes actually 3 times a week. 2 are listed here, but we're starting 3 times a week. I have on Mondays at 7 in the evening. We have Tuesdays at 12:30 or 1 o'clock till kind of 2:30 or 3. So those ones are VIP training. These are Zoom calls. They're not learned out, or they're not live streams. These are Zoom calls where we actually work on stuff. And we're talking or starting to work on a particular focus on starting, building, growing an education business in those sessions. And then I think on Fridays, I'm not sure if it's Friday or Thursdays, we're going to have an open session, which is like a free for all. So 3 times a week, we're going to be having these live Zoom calls, and that is with me specifically. Plus, you also get, as a paid member in the VIPs, we have a special group that only your specific things get covered. And if you have videos that you want to see, or problems that you're working on, or things that you want to see a specific answer on, we'll actually work and create content specifically to help you out. Whether that be figuring out prompts, or doing a prompt and see what happens, or giving additional resources and stuff, that's available to you. So all you need to do if you want to upgrade to that is on the left hand side as a free member. If you click it, you'll have the option to join the group. It's $97 a month, or $997 a year. And again, we're doing 3 calls a week on that right now. So that's the first choice. Second one that we run into on a regular basis, and again, I'll just do this one quickly, is if you're looking at this stuff and you're going, man, James, it's too much, I don't want to do it. We do provide and create privately branded campuses for people. It takes about 24 hours to get one set up, so you can have a site exactly the same as the one that you're on now. Just book a time to call. and we'll have a site set up for you with all of the tools and stuff. And we can even host it if you want. But if you want a site exactly the same with all of the Fluent communities on your WordPress site, we'll actually build that for you, which is kind of neat. And also, I might as well put it in here because here, this is my bad sales pitch at the end. It's not necessarily sales pitch, but if you don't want one-on-one service, we do have a mentor program, and we do a monthly one-on-one package that if you want to work with me directly. So hopefully those things kind of help. This is a super exciting time for all of us. I hope you're kind of enjoying this. And what do we got here? 7 people on. Let me know any last questions before I bring this in for landing. What do we got here? Nothing, not letting them download. Okay, I think that's it. I'll pack it in. Thank you everyone for joining. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because I'm supposed to say that. But more importantly, join the community. Get in and ask your questions about starting, building, and growing your education business. Take care, everyone. Expect the best. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.